Welcome to the Mac and Chuck podcast with your hosts, Chuck Hill and Scott McKenzie, with special guest, Trisha of Cat Boss.
Hey, folks, how you doing tonight?
Look, I'm a bridge.
You are a bridge. That's a mighty fine bridge there. So we are coming to you tonight. I'm coming to you live from my studio, and Mac is joining us audio this evening. We had a couple technical difficulties, both on my end and his end, but you know what?
You should totally put a picture of Cheeser face in there, too. Just a still. It's a still.
There you go. But we are totally dedicated to doing the show for you guys and making sure that we bring it here, even if we had to both go audio, which was a possibility at one point. So, but we are here tonight, and we do have the special guest, Trisha, Cat Boss. She's going to be on. She's in our green room. You know, we kind of sort of have a green room, I guess.
What?
Yeah, it's like a live green room almost. You know, she gets to kind of hang out, like, you know, she's
virtually hanging out.
She's virtually hanging out. Yeah. So, how's your week been, Mac?
I started a new job tomorrow after 11 years at one place. Learned a lot.
How's that feel?
Met a lot of. It's it's the same company, just a different distribution center. So it's not one of those. Oh my God, I got a new job. But it's a new experience and a new challenge is the way I'm looking at it.
What's the name of the place?
It's still FedEx supply chain, but it's the Hershey facility.
Ooh.
And no, Alan, you don't get any cookies.
Hey, man, I want free sugar-free candy bars. That's what I want.
You can't handle sugar-free candy bars.
Who is that one guy that got busted for stealing a box of candy bars like every day?
We knew him.
Yeah, we did. We knew him. We went to school.
We'll keep the names anonymous to keep those out of trouble.
Yeah. Plus,
now I will tell you this: I do not take requests for candy. As for, I cannot do that.
So you're putting it out there up front, right?
Very upfront.
No candy. So don't ask him to steal any candy for you.
Don't ask me to do nothing.
That's right.
Just happened to want to start being Mac's friend because you got a little bit of a sweet tooth. Don't think about it.
His Facebook.
See, that's why I threw that out there. That's when I threw that out there right away. Don't ask.
Well, that's awesome. It seems like we're both kind of on that track. You know, I started my new job 2 weeks ago. And very excited to be there. It's a great place to work so far. The people are really awesome, and I'm really enjoying what I do. I get kind of to do a combination of all the things I like to do from my past. So it's kind of cool.
What do you do? Do you have a job like Chandler Bing? What does he do?
All I know is that Chandler made sure that the weenus was done, every day.
Man, is that what you do too?
No, actually, I don't work with the weenus.
That's his priority.
Oddly enough, the weenus is an actual body part.
That is his. That's his favorite pastime is straightening out the weenus.
Straightening out the weenus. It's really weird because my son-in-law, okay, now get this. My son-in-law likes to.
What about his? You make sure his weenus is okay?
No, he makes sure that everybody else's weenus is okay. He'll walk up to you and then randomly start rubbing your elbow. At first it was really creepy.
Now it's just part of the journey.
Yep. Now it's
part of the journey. Hang on, I'm going to grab your elbow here. Please don't freak out,
dude. When he first did it, I was like, "What in the hell is this?"
I guess he's an alien, and that's his handshake.
Yeah. So Angie says Chandler was a data analyst, then he was in advertising. All right, maybe
Killjoy.
Inside scoop.
Killjoy.
So yeah. But anyway,
are you a data analyst and are you in advertising?
I am not a data analyst. I'm not officially in advertising. I do get to help the marketing team out every once in a while. Like they've got a full marketing team, and I'm not I wasn't hired in as a part of that team, but I do get to help them with some different aspects of what they do, which is kind of cool. And but my primary job is printer support specialist. We've got a brand new brand that's coming out. I can't quite get into it yet, but trust me, when the time comes right, you will all know exactly what it is and where to go to get one. But
he can tell you where to go.
That's right. Well, people tell me where to go all the time, but it's a really cool product. It's really great for creators. And I'm just very excited to be part of this new brand and part of this team. I really, really enjoy it. So, Mac, you want to tell us what we got on the show tonight?
What do we have? We have the one and only Cat Boss joining us.
The Cat Boss. Not just a cat
capital
boss.
THE.
That's right. THEE even. Cat
And what is she going to talk about today, sir?
I believe we're going to talk a little bit about emergency preparedness for our pets. And
don't leave the cat on the main floor while everybody else runs down to the basement during a tornado. Is that part of what she's going to talk about?
Possibly.
Okay.
You know, you might not want to do that. And, you know, just maybe like, I don't know, just, you know, in case there is an emergency, how to make sure your pet's taken care of and how to prepare for that. So, you know, looking forward to that. And then we're going to talk a little bit also just about Got Potential also, you know, just kind of, her another part of what she does and just how people can get involved in that. And just, you know, if you've got a star pet, Trisha can help you out, you know. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then what else we got, Mac?
We have, is the college debt really worth it?
What a great question. So many people.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, so many people, so many degrees, so much debt. And our current president.
Not enough jobs.
Not enough jobs, yeah. And our current president is actually doing everything he can to eliminate that debt. So we're going to talk a little bit about that also, I think. But without further ado, I think we're going to bring the Cat Boss on and just see what she's got for us tonight.
And there she is.
Hey, Trish.
Hey.
How's it going?
We caught her mid-chew.
No, I'm.
What you eating there?
Okay,
You got dinner?
I was taking a sip, my last sip of my Bloody Mary that I'm having at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a little jealous. I'm not going to lie.
I'm going to say this right now. I have not been on a vacation in over 3.5 years. My mom does my pet care. She lives across the street. So I had to pay my mom to let me have 2 days off. So
hey, you got to do what you got to do, right?
My brother and my sister-in-law, my 2 nieces came in from out of town. So, and my friend Ellen was so gracious to let me stay at her place on the Ozarks. So we are staying here.
Nice. Now, are you getting some boating in, or are you like?
We got some boating in. My friends
inner tubing.
Dock today. We came to the boathouse, and then it was supposed to be 100% rain all weekend. And we got some like sun patches, and we were super lucky to have some sun and come to the boathouse. And I was so thankful. So any sun and boating water, I'm good.
Nice.
I'm
you
like
know, that tubing can be dangerous stuff.
What?
I said that tubing can be dangerous stuff. I remember my first wife, we had gone on a camping trip and we were out tubing, and like when the tube hit the wake and was bouncing up and down, at one point it went really high and came down super hard, and she didn't bite all the way through her lip, but like she bit into her lip, and I mean it was pretty messy, and I was like, holy crap, I couldn't believe like how actually dangerous that can be if you're not careful or whatever.
I can imagine that literally the waves here are like just because of the weather and the boats, it's like the ocean. It's incredible. It's really nuts, actually. We went on pontoon boat, and I was like, crap.
So last week you were nice enough to send us kind of some pet tips on, you know, fireworks preparedness for, you know, our animals, and not just cats, but, you know, dogs also, and just kind of, you know, how to prepare them for it and just kind of protect them. And this week, you're just going to talk a little bit about, so Lisa says we've got words. We'll cover that here at the end.
Oh, here it comes.
You know, hold on a second.
It's Cat Boss. What?
Hold on. We may have a news flash. Hey, Mac and Chuck, just popping by to let you guys know my daughter is at the hospital and may be in labor right now, waiting to find out if her water broke. She's going to keep.
This may be a quick show.
Yeah, it may be a quick show. So yeah, but so you know, yeah, you were nice enough to send us that that graphic. Thank you so much for that. And today we want to talk a little bit just about emergency preparedness for not just our cats, but all of our pets in general. So with that being said, Trish, how can we best be prepared to make sure that if there's a fire or a flood or a tornado or some kind of natural disaster, that, you know, our pets are taken care of?
Yeah, I think it's such an important topic to talk about, especially this month. And no matter where you are, you can face so many different challenges, right? Because in the past we face tornadoes and we face flooding, but like in California, they face flooding and other natural
fires,
right? And so no matter where you are, I think it's an important discussion to have. And it's not linear, like, right? So like we need to like make plans for everyone. And so how can you think through the things that you can do beforehand? Like right now, I'm personally thinking about getting a solar generator for my house because I have a lot of animals. And I'm not just thinking about powering my electric or my refrigerator. I'm thinking about my whole house electric. So that might be an investment that you might want to plan for. But in the intermediate time, you might want to think about a gas generator for your immediate appliances that you need. Right now through St. Louis, we've had a couple of like through Washington, Warrenton, Wildwood, Eureka, Pacific. We've had a lot of power outages in a long time. So think about that kind of stuff too. But it's not just us. So we want to think about our pets. And I think that's an important plan to take place. So there's definitely things that you can think about ahead of time. And last week, because of the 4th of July, there's a lot of things that you can do. Okay, so let's say your pet is reactive to fireworks. What are the things that you can do to maybe think ahead for next year if your pet reacted to fireworks bad this year? So you can do a lot of things to prepare your pet for fireworks. You can actually plan, if you're going to plan to go out, you can actually have a pet sitter for that day so that your pet is nice and calm. You can also play with your pet ahead of time so that they're nice and tired, so that they're passed out when the scary things happen.
Wear the scare out of them.
Yeah, wear the scare. Yeah, you can wear the scare out of them. There's so many things that you can do. You can put some natural supplements in their water that it keeps them nice and calm too. So there's
what kind of supplements would you recommend there, Trish?
I will give you the link to a lot of different supplements that you can add to your pet's water. They're just herbal supplements that are really nice and healthy. So I'll give you a link so you can post that on your page next time.
Okay, that'd be great.
And also I think we included that in the link for on the 4th.
Okay.
But yeah, we can definitely add a link to that. But it's all flower herbal supplements that can keep your pet nice and healthy and relaxed and calm. But yeah, I would say that mostly it's like playing with your pets, making sure they're tired, playing music, drowning out the sound, distracting your pets, but also being there for them during the scary times. But okay, for preparation, there's so many things that we can do for our pets, including, and there's so many things that you wouldn't think of. So, okay, so you guys know that your pets have ID tags, right?
Like a regular ID tag, or are you talking to Chip?
No, regular ID tags.
Okay, yes.
Right? So you have your name, your information, right? Your name and your phone number. When your pet, so consider adding your when you're alone. Like, okay, so like let's say your pet gets lost, right?
Uh-huh.
But they don't know, or something happens to you in an accident. No one knows how many pets you have at home, right? So consider adding an ID tag that says how many pets you have at home on your dog's collar, so that they know that if something happens to you, let's say you and your dog are in an accident in the car.
Uh-huh.
But you're not able to talk, right? But that person knows your information, and they know that you have this many dogs or cats at home, and this is the person to contact. So if something were to happen with you guys at home, then they have that immediate contact information, and they know how many pets you have at home. So that way someone else is able to contact the immediate person from your dog's collar, instead of just looking up your ID and waiting for the cops or police to get in touch with your family. Someone knows immediately how to get in contact with your immediate family. So that's a really good way to contact people based on your pet's color alone.
Sure. So let me ask you a question kind of along that lines. And even as far as chipping goes, sometimes I see at your house, there are stickers that say you have pets and things like that for like if the firemen have to come or the cops have to come. What are your thoughts on the chip? Like, can you add that information to your pet's database for your number of pets or emergency contacts or anything along those lines?
You know what? There's so many. I think chipping your pet is a really great way to keep your pets up to date in case they get lost. But you're absolutely right that it's a great way to get in touch with you if your pet gets lost. But anyway, sorry. There's a golf cart going behind me. Out of my control. Here it comes again.
Hey, you're out there having fun, right?
Yeah. Sure does. The golf cart sound like a lawnmower.
Well, part of the same engines.
But anyway, there's new companies out there that are updating the pet shipping system so that even if your pet gets stolen, that there's ways to track your pet. And I'm going to talk about that in future shows once those pet products develop. But chipping your pet is a great way to keep control of your pet. If a natural disaster happens and your pet gets loose, that's a great way. But also just keeping the collar and your updated information on the pet's tags is a really great way to keep everything. But also, I'm going to say this. It also, like, I have a binder at home with all my vet information, my who gets what medication, my vet's contact information, my immediate family's information, who is my pet carer, their name and number. That way, if anything happens to me, someone can step in and take care of my pets immediately.
That's a great idea.
And they also have all their pictures so that they can identify my pets, even though if they don't know their names, because I have a lot of animals.
I've seen the videos.
Just saying. But there's pictures on the wall, and so I have decorated my entire basement in their pictures with their names so that anybody can identify the cats when they walk in. And it's very important that you kennel train your animals. All of my animals are kennel trained. So in AM and PM, when I go to train or when I go to feed my animals, I say, come on guys, let's go kennel. And they all go to their kennel and that's where they eat. So teaching your animals to eat in their kennel is paramount, not just for behavior, but also for emergencies. I even do that with the lights turned out, because in an emergency, you're going to lose power. There's going to be smoke. There's going to be something that goes on. So your animals need to know, even if the sirens are going off, the animals need to know that they need to go to those crates no matter what. That's how they get their food. I listen to Mom. It's really important that you keep your voice calm, that you keep your demeanor calm, because your pets feed off your energy. That's the number one thing. They're looking at Mom. They're looking at Dad. Just be cool. That's the best thing you can do for your animals, is no matter what's going on behind you or whatever, think first. Save your animals. Do what you have to do. Save yourself and be calm, be cool, be collected, and do what you have to do to get your animals and yourself safe. That's the best thing I can possibly add. There's so much information. And guess what? We have compiled a whole list for you guys, Mac and Chuck.
Oh,
we have compiled an entire list for you guys, and products and lists and things that you can buy on Amazon and things that you can do. So I have 2 bags that are ready. I have one in my house and one in my car, and that's ready at all times for pet emergencies, no matter what's going on. So you guys and your listeners are going to have access to all of that information, and I'm going to give you a link, and I'm going to give you all the links, and I'm going to give you a PDF document so you guys can go and do all of that stuff. And I'm going to quiz you too, so don't even think that you're off the hook.
Oh, Mac, sounds like we got another trivia show coming up.
Mac, you're off the hook.
Ruh-roh.
Well, Trish, we appreciate you doing that for us, for sure. And keeping our pets safe is very important. And I'm glad you mentioned that about the bag, because I was going to ask you if there was particular products or anything in particular that you would suggest, with the exception of food, that you would need long term? Things such as, I don't know, like treats, or like a bag of toys. Is that something that because
there's
if you're
so much stuff like there's these little water purification things that I have that can fit in your pocket.
Uh-huh.
That if you don't have a clean water source for your animals, you can literally take this, dip it in the lake, put it in this little pocket-sized thing, and you can purify your animals' water so that
Nice.
they have purified drinking water, including yourself. There's so many different really cool little tips and tricks that I have that I'm going to give you guys access to. There's a whole document of things that you guys can use and to prep your entire animals bag. Like, not just you, it's great for you too, but also great for your animal. So you guys are going to have access to that this month, because we are doing all of July was animal prep and preparation and emergency prep. So you guys, all your listeners, are going to access to it.
Nice. A Mac and Chuck exclusive. We love it. Ooh,
So
goodies.
not just one or two. There's lots, and there's no time for that. So
Okay,
it's
yeah, awesome.
Like a whole thing. It's like a whole thing.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Trish. Appreciate that. And okay, so
Now the question here.
yes,
comes.
now the question. I have a huge question. Okay, now this is big because
Hold on to your Bloody Mary.
yep, hold on to your Bloody Mary.
Wait, my Bloody Mary's gone.
Ah, wah, wah.
Look, it has wait, where's my camera? Oh,
There you go.
Apparently, she's had more than one.
see, it's gone.
So we here at the Hill/Holmes house, we took your advice and we started meal feeding baby Kitty, the cat that lives here, right? This has become a nightmare for us. There's no way to sugarcoat this.
Don't
Every
sugarcoat it.
morning-
Let it out, man.
Every morning I get up, I go upstairs, and it's screaming from the cat. There's no other way. Baby Kitty is screaming at us to feed her, right? And then, as soon as we get home in the evening or whatever, Baby Kitty is screaming for us to feed her. Now, she typically gets fed between 6 and 7, right around there at night, and usually between 6 and 7 in the morning. So the big question is, we seem to have created this monster. I won't blame you completely because, we did it. But how do we control this? How is this something that we can make this a livable situation for everybody and still keep, our sanity and Baby Kitty happy?
Well,
Okay.
if I can interject, is that a behavior problem, or is that just what type of issue is that?
That's a great question. I think we've stumped her.
Sounds like you need some earplugs.
Okay, you want me to answer?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, we would love you to answer.
Okay, so number one, I'm going to say this. Here comes the golf cart. Number two, I am so proud of you for implementing that lifestyle change for your cat, because that is super important and key to the optimal health of your cat. Yes, it can create annoyances for hunger. Okay, so are you feeding your cat how much are you feeding your cat? Tell me that.
Okay, so she gets a can of Friskies in the morning and a can of Friskies in the evening. Now, here's the other issue. She's no longer eating her hard food either.
Wait a minute. I think you need to be specific. They are small cans.
Yeah, they're
Stop
the
that.
small can. No, not Friskies, Fancy Feast. I'm sorry, it's Fancy Feast.
I do
Okay.
believe there's supposed to be a mixture of dry and wet food in there. Something.
Yeah! There we go.
Look at DJ Whiteout.
He gets the A for paying attention.
Wow! There we go. There we go. There's a mixture. Okay, so yes, you are correct. Wet food, but there's a healthy mixture. So your hand, right? Let me find my camera. Let me. Oh,
It's your other left.
Where's the hand. Hello. Okay, so take your hand. You guys have.
I'll have two
bigger
of what
hands.
she's having, please.
You guys have bigger hands than me, but take your hand. I'm trying to find my
Oh,
camera. I
God.
can't find. Take your hand,
Here
make
you
a
are.
fist, close your fist,
Uh-huh.
right? Or take your wife or girl or whatever you got going on. Like, have that.
Oh, she's Mac's girl. She ain't my girl.
I
So
don't know what's going on there, but anyway, take the fist, close the hand. That's as much dry food as your cat should get twice a day. Plus 2 tablespoons of wet. So do that twice a day. They should
Okay.
get dry and they should get wet, and that's gonna be a complete meal.
Gotcha.
The
Okay.
wet food is what keeps their urinary tract healthy. It also helps to build muscle mass, and it helps to keep them lean. The dry food is a complete, like, basically carbohydrate, adds a little protein, but it gives that crunch, and so it'll maintain the weight a little bit, and it'll also knock down the, like, hunger. So imagine if you were working out, if you were just eating protein,
Yeah.
you would want a little carbohydrates, right?
I always
like-
want carbohydrates.
Yeah, right. Me too. So, like, you want carbohydrates. So think of dry as carbohydrates. Think of wet as protein and fat.
Okay.
So when you're building a whole meal, you're building a little bit of carbohydrates, a little bit of protein, and a little bit of fat. So that would be a complete meal for your cat. So
Okay,
that's what I would do.
Okay, so we should really only be, instead of 2 of the small cans of the Fancy Feast, we should actually only be doing maybe half of the can.
I would do a half a can of
Okay.
Fancy Feast, and then a fist close. I can't do this. Can't do this. A fist full of dry food. Don't be like a I can't even do this.
Right.
Like, don't cheat. Like, do like a little bit, like 2 tablespoons of dry food. That's it.
Gotcha. Okay, well, Lisa, that's something that we can try, and that'll cut down on.
That will
Best of
help.
luck to you.
No, that will help.
All right. Well, you guys heard it from the cat boss. She said that will help.
I promise you. I have 23 cats, and that's what I do.
You have how
Holy
many cats?
shnikes.
23.
Wow, that's a
But
lot of fur balls.
they all work for a living.
That's a lot of fur balls.
They all have a job. They all have an amazing place to live.
Well,
And that's what I do for a living.
well, you know what? At least your cats are earning their keep, right? Ours just
They-
screams at us to feed her every morning and night.
They earn their keep, but right now they're not earning their keep because there's no jobs. It's anyway, don't get me started on that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And, just to I want to make sure that we get Mac's question answered, because I think, and if you did answer it, I apologize, but I think it's really important. The behavior in the morning, is it more of a behavior issue, or is it more of, yes, Lisa, is it more of a behavior issue, or is it more of like a hunger issue with this? Are we training our behavior when we change the way we feed baby kitty, or is it more just she's upset because she's not getting the carbohydrates that the dry food provides?
Yeah, it's a little bit of that. So, like,
Okay.
it's mostly nutrition, but it's also like the behavior will curb when you provide the nutrition that she needs.
Gotcha.
That will stop. But also, okay, so let's do this. Let's add a little bit of dry food in the morning, a little bit of dry food in the evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you can do this. Super cool. So when your cats are like in the middle of the afternoon, right, in between feedings, you can take, there's little pet feeders, and Friskies has a little thing called the Wobbler, and you can get them at Walmart. I think you can get at PetSmart, but you can get them on Amazon for sure.
Mhm.
You can take their dry treats and hide them in the little Wobbler, and you can take like 2 or 3 of those and hide them in the house, so that in between your pet's meals, they can have treats to seek out, because cats are hunters. And so if they have something to hunt, it's going to keep them super active, also keep their mind busy and their body busy. So you can take those dry treats, hide them in the Wobbler, and place them throughout, like, and change the places where you hide them, so your cat constantly has to hunt through the day. So if you're at work and your cat is bored, that's a great way to alleviate any behavior problems that your cat has. Also, I found this is super cool. PetSmart has a little cactus cat scratcher. It's shaped like a cactus, and it has like this little cat rope on both sides. Your cat can stretch up and scratch the cactus. It's super cute. I just bought one. I'm super obsessed with that.
All right, cool. The cactus cat rope. Gotcha.
It's
That's
super
easy for
cute.
you to say.
It looks cute in your house, and it doesn't look like a cat scratcher. I'm all about making my house catified, so that it doesn't look like a cat house. It just looks like a cool house, and then there's cats.
Gotcha. Well, we definitely don't want your house looking like a
Which
cat house.
you guys are gonna come over and see someday.
Okay, yeah, I would love to do that. Love to check it out. All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the show. We definitely appreciate it, and it's awesome to see that you're having a good time down there in the Lake of the Ozarks, taking some much needed rest. I'm sure.
She's letting loose.
Letting her hair down, so to speak.
I'm letting loose.
I do have one question for the cat boss.
Yeah.
There's a product I've been seeing recently come out for cats. It's a new kind of kitty litter, and it just the design of it, it just kind of doesn't really seem like it's really safe. It's called Pretty Litter. Have you ever heard of Pretty Litter?
I have not.
It's like this silicone based kitty litter, and like it's made to be like a really, really like easy scoop and like get rid of, like it sifts through like cat waste and stuff like that a lot.
Like it absorbs moisture and clumps
like
up.
Clay litter or something would, but it's so fine. I feel like that would like get in like the water supply or something like that. But I didn't know if you ever heard of it or if you had any opinions of it, but definitely check it out and tell us what you think next time.
Hey, I will. I have not heard of that. I'm just going to say this. I am I'm not an affiliate marketer by any means.
This product not sponsored by the Cat Boss.
Not sponsored. Not sponsored, but wish it was. Just saying. Because I go through.
If you'd like to have the Cat Boss sponsor your item, please contact her at catboss.tv on Instagram.com.
The only litter that I use is the Tidy Cats Breeze system. And here's why. It's a pelleted rock, if you're not familiar. It does not absorb urine, and the urine goes through to a wee-wee pad below. You take the wee-wee pad out once a week, and that's it. And then you scoop the litter, the other matter that's on top.
The solid waste.
Once or twice a day. And you have no smell. You have no dust in your house. And one of the main things about cat litter is that there's dust, and the odor goes in the dust and it goes in the air in your house. And that's why you have a litter or like a cat odor in your house.
Okay. That's great information.
The Tidy Cats Breeze has no odor, and the wee like I was saying, the urine goes to a wee pad below that you throw out once a week. So
that's cool.
If I'm going to recommend a litter, I always recommend it. I literally stop people at PetSmart from buying other litters.
Wow.
Like, I'm just like, please don't do that.
So you're like a litter warrior then.
I'm like a super litter warrior. And I don't get paid. I don't get paid from Tidy Cats. I'm not a Tidy Cat affiliate. I'm not anything. I'm just like, please don't do this. This is the only litter that I would recommend to any cat owner, period, the end. It's a life changer. Everyone I've stopped and changed from buying regular litter in their life has always thanked me from making that change.
Now we just need to get Tidy Cats to thank you.
Right.
The right way.
Right. Show me the Benjamins.
So I recommend hardcore Tidy Cats Breeze system.
Tidy Cats Breeze.
All right.
Be there.
And I'm going to tell you this. If you go and you buy the box, this is super secret information. Something I do, probably not. I don't know. Probably not acceptable.
Exclusive.
Probably not acceptable.
How many are we going to get today?
But when you open the box, there's a $10 coupon in the box.
Oh.
To save on the litter system, open the box before you go to the register.
We cannot endorse such behavior here at the Mac and Chuck Show.
I think that's genius. That's perfect. And then you get a discount because the box is already open.
That's okay, folks. Give us another 2 or 3 years and we'll be committing felonies online. Well, thanks for the tips, Trish. We definitely appreciate it. We appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
Love you guys.
We love you
Bye-bye.
too. Glad things are going great for you. Have a great weekend and enjoy your time.
Bye, you too. I think my family just left.
Run, Forrest, run!
Priorities.
I gotta find a hitch on the boat.
Oh my God!
Just jump on the golf cart that keeps going back and
I
forth.
can swim home.
All right. Have a great week, Trish.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Well, that was some pretty interesting stuff.
I think somebody's hammered. I'm just saying,
man,
and it's not me this
time.
time.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm just saying that's probably not the first Bloody Mary she's had, but she did give us some
I don't think
great
it was just
information.
one cup.
Oh,
That's all you need, man.
we definitely appreciate it, and we're going to have to check out that Tidy Cat Breeze. That looks like some really, or sounds like some really good stuff.
I think you definitely need to check that out.
Yeah, and the food thing that she had mentioned. I mean, that's hopefully that's going to be a lifesaver for us also. And just
A lifesaver. Yeah,
I'm
you,
more
because she
talking
won't
about
jump in
Baby
front of
Kitty's
you
life as
anymore.
opposed to mine.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah. So I mean, it's always nice to have Trish on the show. She says, "Ha ha." So yeah, folks, just to let you know, we're Kim. Just to let you know, we are.
I'm done.
That's pretty interesting stuff. So Trish says she is slightly bloodied. So
is that British for schnockered?
I think it may be. I think it may be. I'm
She's bloody schnockered.
Whoa, I'm bloody well bloodied.
Yes, now.
Yeah. But yeah, we're looking forward to, when she gives us that other information for the Amazon link for just, for pet preparedness. And those are always great tips to have, I mean, DJ, how many animals do you guys have at your house?
We have 2.
And do you have some kind of pet preparedness or anything?
No, actually, we really don't. We don't ever really kennel our dogs, but we all start.
Yeah.
They all just run downstairs and leave the dogs and cats intermingling upstairs while they're saving their lives in the basement.
Well, if they're running
Pretty
downstairs, that's going to be pretty interesting since they live on a slab house. Or live in a slab house.
I don't have a basement.
I'm just saying,
We'll find
pal.
a way
Okay,
down there.
don't get technical with me.
No, I got you. So, Mac, over there at your house, have you guys done anything to kind of, prep your animals for emergencies or anything like that?
Yes, grab them and bust tail downstairs.
Grab and run, snatch and grab,
Snatch and go.
There
I
you go.
attach inflatable vests to all my dogs. So, and if their heart rate ever goes above 120, it just expands immediately,
Nice.
and they're just stuck
So
there
it chokes them. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Well, she did say to wear them out, so I guess if you,
Well, that's
made them
one way
pass
to do
out
it.
from lack of oxygen, as long as you got oxygen to them eventually. So, yeah, Lisa says we can't get Hank in the basement without having to carry him back up.
That's because he's part Labrador and they have horrible hip dysplasia.
Yeah. Yeah. Hank's a cool dog, though. Hank's
Not
probably
to
one of the cooler
mention Labradors
dogs.
are famous for being a little intellectually
Sheepish?
challenged.
Lisa
Sheepish?
says that's 100 pounds of no. Thanks again, Trish, for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Definitely some good information there. We look forward to the information you'll be sharing with us.
Have another Bloody Mary.
Yeah, have a Bloody Mary. Have one for us.
Or 2 or 3. Who are we to say?
Yeah, if you're down there having your vacation and enjoying it, you do.
As long
you.
as you're not driving?
Yeah, well, apparently she's got golf carts to carry her around.
I did see that. That is true.
Yeah, and if her parents, or her friends did leave her,
Apparently left her.
yeah, she could walk it off. So
Walk it off.
I think she'll be good either way. So we mentioned earlier also we're going to talk a little bit about college degrees. So we're
I
interested.
got one of those.
We're living in a world right now that's completely different from the world that you and I grew up in, Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when we were in high school, it was college. I mean, they had an actual track called college prep. But were you in college prep courses?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay. So that's kind of the way I was. I did some college prep classes. It was a little beyond my attention span is the best way to put it. Hold on a second. Shelby has said update that she is in active labor and her water is broke. She's not leaving the hospital without her.
Okay, so do we say to be continued?
Nope. I think we get a little time. The hospitals aren't letting people in anyway.
Okay.
So I think we got a little time to talk about this. But for those of you who don't know, Shelby Fuca, yes, that's how you pronounce her last name. It's not the other way.
Oh my heavens.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. She, that is my daughter. She is in labor and she is bringing forth my second grandchild, who is honorably named after Scott.
My daughter.
Yes.
And Trish has a Bloody Mary waiting for her.
Nice. So, yeah. So by the end of the night, possibly by the end of the show, if this one goes as well as my first granddaughter did, you could be looking at the grandfather of 2 wonderful granddaughters. So
wait a minute. So you're saying the first one was like a slip and slide?
Emma came out pretty quick. I think it was like 2 pushes, and here she came. So the labor was a little bit, it wasn't too long, but yeah, it was like 2 pushes, and Emma was here.
I think the baby called Shelby from the hospital to let her know that she was born, and then she was like, "Oh crap!"
She met her at the hospital. Huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Shelby, we're rooting for you. We are definitely. I'll be there as soon as I can be there. And don't forget, you got to talk to them. Hey, you got your own personal photographer, newborn photographer. But because of COVID rules,
you're cutting in on the hospital's money there, Hill.
Yeah. So whenever the doctor offers you the newborn photo package,
no, I'll take my own. Thank you.
So Shelby says she loves us both very much, and Shelby, you know that the sentiment is the same.
In the words of the best Adam Sandler, you can do it.
You can do it. So yeah. So anyway, on with the show. This is it.
Oh, you did enough of that last night.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit about college degrees, and we're curious as to our viewers and.
Me?
Hey, do you have a degree? I do not have a degree. I have some college, but Mac has a degree. And Mac, what's your degree in?
Business administration.
Okay, now you got some marketing in there also, right?
When I went to school, the degree was so broad. It included, in the core classes, it was marketing, accounting, business management, things like that. So it's very broad. It touched on a lot. So there's no specific skill set in there, but there's many.
Okay, so something I want to hit on also, because this is a lot of what I regret about not going to college directly out of high school, is the college experience. Now, if I recall correctly, you and I kind of took the same path for a little bit. Like we didn't go directly to college from high school, but you went to college after being married, and you went to college, with kids. So the college experience was different for you than it was for most people, correct?
Yeah, I was staying up till 10, 11 o'clock at night doing papers and then having to turn around and get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah. Now, so DJ, go ahead and put up Kimberly's comment again, because Kimberly, she says here, degrees are important for a secured career. She says they're worth the money as her kid enters his senior year. So, and then go ahead and put Angie's comment up, because Angie has a degree, and she's about $100,000 in debt that with a degree that she doesn't use. And I believe, Angie, correct me if I'm wrong, your degree is in marketing and design, or something along those lines. And so my question is, we have 2 opinions here on the show. One person that says yes, the degree is worth the money. Another person says, well, I have a degree, but I've got $100,000 in debt. And we have a friend who went to school for mass communications. And he has a lot of debt as well. Mark says he believes they're somewhat overrated in a way that experience in the field is something that is overlooked many times. Mark, I would agree with you 100% on that.
Let me interject when you're done.
No, please go ahead.
Now, what I was just going to say is, I think it really depends on number one, the age you go to school in.
Okay.
What age you are, because when you're younger, you have a lot more opportunities, in my opinion, because employers look at you for the longevity of what they'll have you at. I think that's one thing. Second off,
you think it's a matter of dedication?
Not dedication is, let's say when I got out of school, I got 20 good years left until I retire, as opposed to someone who just got out of college is going to have 45 maybe.
Okay.
So I think it's okay, I can have this person at least for, let's say half the time, 25 years of their career they can build here, and I don't have to worry about it, as opposed to someone who may have had a couple jobs already before they went to school. They have more experience to draw from. That way they may not stay in a job longer if a better one comes along, if that makes any sense.
So kind of on the loyalty factor.
To a degree, because I really don't think loyalty gets you anywhere anymore. I really don't.
I would agree. I would agree. It comes down to numbers in a lot of situations.
It does. In the second respect, I would say it really depends on what the degree is in.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of fields that really aren't as open as others.
Mm-hmm.
For example, mine business, since it's so broad, it encapsulates a lot. Whereas something like mass communications, I mean, you're looking at, TV, newspaper, things like that, and those are really saturated right now. So I think it really depends on those two factors.
And I think the job market, I think the job market cycles in the saturation area, because there are some, there are some people. How am I trying to say this? Sometimes it is an oversaturated. Like right now, there's a pretty high demand for welders.
Any trade, really.
And there's a big demand for that, and not a lot of demand for degreed people. I know a lot of people who have degrees, and they're, either working at Starbucks or they're working for companies that have absolutely nothing to do with their degree. So Kimberly says up here, exactly, Max. She says, I don't want a doctor working on me that didn't complete a degree. Kim, I would agree with that completely. Like, I think there are definitely specialized areas that you need to be trained in, and you need schooled in, and you need to learn specific disciplines.
Right.
So I would agree with that 100%. Let's go back to the comments if we can, Dave. Let's see what Mark said. Mark says there's a huge St. Louis company just basically wants the 4-year degree. Doesn't matter what it is in, just a requirement. And, Mark, I agree with that. And I'm going to tell you just a couple things here. When I first came back to St. Louis and was, from Kansas City looking for work, I did not have on my resume that I had a degree. And someone had called me in for an interview, and it was another sales position. And basically, when I got there, I drove 45 minutes for the interview. When I got there, they said, well, you can do this and you can do this. And I'm like, okay, awesome. And then they were like, well, you don't have a degree. And I'm like, no, I don't have a degree. And she said, well, they're not even interviewing people without degrees. And I'm just like, seriously? Like, you called me in for the interview. Nowhere on my resume does it say I have a degree. It says I have some college, but it doesn't say anything about a degree.
That right there just shows that it's not a very in-depth and someone who looked over a resume. It's just someone who pulled out keywords in it for the job description they posted.
I agree 100%. But the other problem with that is automatically, regardless of my sales experience and a successful sales experience, they disqualified me simply because I didn't have a degree. And I think that happens a lot, because if I'd had a degree in basket weaving, the interview probably would have went a little further. And I don't think that you get quality employees that way. Matter of fact, I know that you don't. Another company I worked for in the Kansas City area, I was specifically let go, and I worked for I won't mention the company because I like the people there, but they restructured their sales, the way they were doing sales, and then they brought in a regional manager. Well, I had been there for 2.5, 3 years or something like that. I was doing pretty good for what the dental industry was doing at the time. And my sales numbers were actually higher than my coworkers who had been there for 17 years. And I was let go simply for the fact that the new regional did not have any people that he wanted working for him that didn't have a degree. It didn't matter what it was in. They just had to have a degree. And so we had to part ways because of that. And I just felt that was, really ridiculous, because when I asked him, I said, okay, so how do you think the other rep is going to respond when you have this conversation with him? Now, keep in mind, my sales numbers were higher than the other reps' numbers were, and I was growing. But the only different thing was I didn't have a piece of paper from an institution that said I knew how to do my job. So a year later, they let that rep go also. And I don't know why they let him go, but I just know the year later that he was no longer with the company and went to work for someone else. So my question is, when you have people out there that don't have degrees, and you have people out there, Angie, I see your comment. I'm going to address that in a minute. I'm going to let Max speak here also, because I don't want to hog up the whole thing. I do think you need to take that into account, like learn someone's story, maybe find out why they didn't have a degree, learn about their experience, learn what they can do and how they can help your company specifically, and what set of skills or trade that they bring to help your company. End scene.
Okay. I was just waiting for you to catch your breath.
Yeah.
And actually, Angie brings up what I was going to state. I think that degrees nowadays show a desire to finish a task.
Okay.
And I think that's why a lot of them require them, because it shows the dedication, it shows the follow through to get that done. And that's why, as you said earlier, I don't think a lot of them really care what it's in, just the fact that you completed it. Now, in saying that, a lot of the accelerated programs now are going to be at a private university, which is going to cost you upwards of $60,000 a year for 4 years.
Yeah, easily.
Because I'm looking at 70 grand right now that I'm in deferment on because I can't pay.
Right. There are a lot of people in your situation. I mean,
there's tons. There's tons.
But you mentioned that, and we have another friend that's kind of in the same situation.
But in saying that, this may segue into what you may touch on next. But when I took out that debt, I knew what I was getting into. So I think you know where I'm going with that is.
Sure.
Should it be forgiven? I don't think it's fair to other people that have paid it already.
Right.
Because everyone knew what they were getting into when they took these loans out. That's just my 2 cents.
I think, so I do agree with you, but I kind of disagree with you also. And this is kind of maybe where I definitely don't consider myself of a liberal mindset. However, I think that as you go through high school, you're sold a bill of goods that's not quite everything it's cracked up to be. Like when we're in high school, the big push is college. Like when I was in high school and you were in high school.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to stop you right there for a second.
Sure.
When you and I were in high school, the world was completely different than it is now. So if you're trying to compare then to the environment now, that's not fair and it's not accurate.
Well, I think you are correct. It's not the same environment. However, it's still being sold. Like there are still kids that are being told, hey, you need to go in debt.
It is.
And you need to go to college because if you don't go to college, you're not going to make anything of yourself.
Right.
And we have people like that are hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, well, tens of thousands of dollars in debt, upwards of 100,000 that can't pay it. And these are people like recent, like you said, you were in deferment of your loan, right? And your degree is relatively recent.
6 years.
So yeah, I mean, that's recent. So are we still in a job environment or a workplace environment that it's necessary to go that much into debt? Because I consider going back to school myself. Okay. I was like, okay, it's going to run me close $60,000-$100,000 over the next 25 years. Am I going to make that back because I've got a piece of paper and I might be able to make an extra 10 grand a year?
That's the question right there. That's the question.
Is it worth the investment, I guess? And, so I mean, that's a big question right there.
I see your question, but I think there's many other layers to that as well. What kind of example are you setting for your kids? What kind of follow through are you showing them? Hey, look, I sacrificed this 5 years of my life to get this, to better ourselves, to show you what it's like to persevere and get something done, what it's like to feel that achievement. What I would say, and if, this is neither here or there, but what I would say is, why does college have to be so expensive?
Yeah. Amen, brother.
I don't understand a private university, you're paying to go to the private university, but in the same token, I don't understand why college has to be so expensive. Now, I understand there's a lot of expense that the college incurs as far as housing, as far as upkeep, as far as buildings, as far as growth. But when it's all said and done, I mean, why are we putting these 23, 24-year-olds out into a job market where they're automatically behind the 8 ball as far as debt goes?
I really think that's more of a government issue. I think that the government has been handing out money like candy to these universities. And so they've been able to, just gobble up money. And the more money they can siphon from the government, then they have to keep it fair for the non-government people. And so non-government assisted people, so the more money they get, the more they can charge in tuition. And I think that's really kind of where that has come from. That's why it's so expensive, because if you look at Harvard, just even 45 years ago, you could go to Harvard for $2,000, $3,000 a semester, and it may be even less expensive than that. And now you're probably not getting, I don't know the actual number, but you're probably not getting into Harvard for under $100,000 a year.
You're not, because what you're paying for, I think a lot of it is the prestige of an Ivy League university. Just the name recognition.
Even take a normal college, man. I mean, the prices at like all colleges, they're so bloated.
I think SIUE for a year right now is about 15 grand. I could be wrong.
Yeah, and just imagine imagine what that costs back, and yes, Kim, I saw your comment. It was 30 years ago, which is kind of what we're talking about, is just the amount of debt. And I saw,
I did not go to college, by the way.
And, I saw that, you had no regrets about going to college. And the only regrets that I have at times are sometimes there have been doors I felt that were closed to me because of that. But as most of you know, I'm a big believer in God directing my life. And there's never been a day in my life that I've had to really worry about where my food was coming from or anything like that. And, Mac, I want to address the dedication issue because while I do agree with you, it does show, a level of dedication. But there are those people that are out there that, for whatever reason, became parents right out of high school. Or
hello?
Life situations. Yeah. Life situations just kind of, prevented them from going to college. And so they, in turn, went to work so they could provide for their family. They, in turn, went to work so they could pay the rent and put food on the table and have clothes on their backs. I mean, what about looking at that type of dedication as opposed to a 4 or 5 year degree?
I think they're both dedication. They're just different categories. And like I said, I don't mean to disparage that, but from an employer's view, they look at you having a family as a choice.
Mm-hmm. Most of those going to college, that's a choice.
Right. Well, it's different in the respect of, you made the choice to have a family, which, by no means is that a looking down on someone, but in the same token, they see that you're willing to get this degree to have a better job for that family that you have, or even for the future family you have. While I think they're the same thing as far as the level of dedication, I think they're in different categories in how they're viewed.
Gotcha.
I think the kind of push for college isn't as bad as it was whenever you guys went to high school, but I think it's still there for a lot of people.
It is still there, but they're really mixing in the trades now, which is great.
Yeah, I think trades are very important. And let me be clear. I'm not saying that Kim says not a choice in her house. It's military or college. So, when you think about that, when you think about that,
you're getting yelled at, by the way.
I see that. And I can't be at the hospital because I can't be in the hospital
because of COVID.
Yeah. So, trust me, if I could be at the hospital, I would be at the
hospital.
It would
be the Mac show right now.
Yeah, it would be the Mac show. So that's why we're still carrying on right now. And she's giving us updates. I obviously don't expect her to give an update when she's hooing, or whatever. But
hooing. Did you just say hooing? Hooah.
Hooey.
Oh, you sound like Al Pacino. Hooah.
So Angie, here's a very interesting point. She says her daughter couldn't graduate, and I'm assuming you're saying from Granite City until she filled out the FAFSA. So that I don't think is
that's wrong because basically you're forcing the kids to file for federal student assistance, whether they want to go to college or not. Right.
You might point earlier, government money.
And fun fact, college debt is the only debt that you cannot file for bankruptcy for.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you can file on your house and everything else, but once you've got student loan debt, it's there for life, which kind of, brings me to the next topic about, debt forgiveness for student loans. Let's talk a little bit about that. Mac, you said you're 70 grand in. We've got other people out there. I think Angie said she's 100 grand in. And then we have
someone else who's 100 grand in.
Yeah. And we have the current administration that has, during his campaign, he was promising, student loan debt forgiveness. And I think so far to date, since he's been in office, there's been $1.5 billion. That's with a B, folks, not with an M. $1.5 billion in student loan debt forgiven, with the most recent being those students who were involved in for-profit and predatory lending colleges.
Oh, right. That's awesome.
Now,
three students
since you brought it, I'm sorry, DJ, go ahead.
I think $1 billion covers about 5-6 students.
5 students. Go ahead, Matt.
Now, since you brought that up, what I will say is, again, the student loan forgiveness, I believe for now, is people that work for nonprofits If you said that, I didn't hear.
No, I did not say that. It was for-profit schools. The
For-profit
students
schools,
who,
but
yeah,
right, but
students
have
at
jobs
Phoenix
for
and
nonprofits.
Trenton colleges.
But in the same token, number one, it's tax money that's being forgiven. So where does that go? I mean, we're paying money and it's being
It's tax money that's
forgiven.
not coming back though. That other people
Right,
have paid in the past.
Right. And that's the second point I was going to bring up too. So where some people, I see why some people may think it's a good idea for me. I'll always go back to where's the money coming from, or where is the money, where the money that went is taxpayer money, and now you're just forgiving it. And so we paid for someone to go to school essentially.
Right.
When they took out loans and know they don't have to pay them back. I just don't think that mindset's right, but that's just my personal opinion.
Right. I personally, and I think that if we're going to go that route, like if that's the way that our country is going to go, now there are other countries that, have quote unquote free secondary education. However, you're right, that's still being paid for with our tax dollars. Now, public schools are being paid for with our tax dollars also.
Correct.
That's where all that goes. So I don't know that I would be opposed to community colleges, being part of the, not so much the public school system, but part of the government subsidized system, as long as it wasn't something that was going to put people in debt and was going to be worth something. A high school diploma these days, it's not worth crap. I mean, let's be honest. But when you get to, to our age,
that's a great point.
To our age, people looking at our things. What does Patty say there?
She makes a great point.
Yeah,
some businesses offer tuition reimbursement.
They do, and that's awesome, because then that's private money going back into the taxpayer money. So, Mac, what are your thoughts on government funded, for lack of a term, free community college education?
I would rather that happen than government money going to a 4-year university, because number one, it gets people initiated into the college experience at a young age. It comparatively, it's a minimal cost. So if it's free, our tax dollars are going to pay for schools, libraries, first responder services. So I really don't think I'd have a problem with that. But obviously, I'd want to see exactly how much my taxes were going to go up first. Right.
Now, how far would you go with that? Would you go, okay, the government's
associate's degree.
Associates? Okay.
Associates. I'd stick right there. Then, because what that does, that gets essentially the basics out of the way.
Okay.
To where you're not paying a 4-year university for something you can get in a community college or a, junior college, so to speak. You can get all your prerequisites out of the way. Then you can go to the university and take a class to get your core, to get the final bachelor's degree.
Like your specialization.
Right. Because as long as those are accredited and you can get those the prerequisites transferred in, you're saving money right there, at least half.
Okay, so you would be good with an associate's degree being covered under the quote. And folks, understand, anytime that we say the word free, we're actually saying taxpayer money.
We're saying that the person going to the school doesn't have to pay for it out of their pocket.
Right. Because we definitely
as far as
understand
loans or bills
free.
or whatever. No, it is not free.
Right. So Kimberly says, no forgiveness, work hard for a scholarship or work harder to pay the loans. So there, Kim, you kind of make a good point there. And Scott just kind of goes to your point of dedication earlier, because when you do commit to that loan, you also commit to paying it back, which could be 20, 30 years on paying those loans back. So, I mean, there's kind of a do the right thing, it's like, I'm going to dedicate 4 years to college or a university or whatever. And then I'm also going to dedicate, the next 20 years of my life to pay for it. So, I mean, I guess if you look at dedication, I guess that would fall more along the line of commitment as opposed to dedication. Because like DJ said earlier, you're going to pay that money back. You can't file bankruptcy on it.
Nope.
And apparently Angie says IRS debt either. So, but
and to kind of give like a look into like the younger side of things, like what people my age are doing.
Who cares?
Whenever.
Shut up, boy.
You're just here to push buttons.
monkey.
For me, man, college was never in the picture. I was never planning on going to college because I kind of thought about it for a little bit whenever I was coming close to my senior year, but the fact was I just didn't know what I wanted to do with my life at that time. And I think me signing on to something for 30 years at the age of 18 is just, that's a terrible idea, especially if, like, for instance, I went into a major for something and then I didn't, like, it's not something that I truly wanted to do, like I never went to college or anything, and I'm already in a position at my work where, I'm getting paid good money and I'm doing what I love with the people that I love.
So I'd like to touch on that just a little bit without giving specific numbers. DJ White makes a really good point. And he was telling me about this. I'd like you to kind of talk about the mentality of those that worked around you versus your mentality. And first of all, I want to say, as my son, I want the best for you. But I want you to be free to make your own decisions, and you making the decision not to take on that much debt, but to take the career path that you seem to be on. That makes me very proud because you've got something, you've got a vision, you've got a focus, and I appreciate that. If you're comfortable, would you kind of share that story?
Like with my work and everything?
Yeah, like, where you started at and just the advice that you received versus what you actually did and the reward for that.
Well, of course, I was told what everyone else was told whenever they were my age at the time, was to go to college and everything. But I this is kind of specific to me, but I really, really enjoy doing musical things and, working in a musical atmosphere. And I've been working at Swing City Music for the past almost 2.5 years now. And, I started out as just a regular salesman, like everyone else usually does. And in places like that now, this is a local business, granted. In situations like that, it can really show that, loyalty kind of pays off in that sense because, half the times I got the raises that I got were because, they saw that I was working hard and that I don't have any plans on leaving the store anytime soon, and eventually, there's plenty of places that you can go where you can get a really good education without having to go into so much debt. Because I've been under the apprenticeship of the guitar tech, the former guitar tech over at Swing City, and now I'm the guitar tech there. And I'm licensed technician for Gibson. I'm a licensed technician for Ibanez, and I'm working on my certification for Fender right now.
There you go, folks. For a licensed service and certification, Swing City Music is where to go.
Exactly, and I don't have a college degree and stuff like that. And you could go to luthier school. That's a really good jumpstart on how to do work like that. But you can also take the way of experience and working under the working under the supervision of professional.
Apprenticeship.
But yeah, man, and I've never, and I just don't have to worry about $70,000 that I have to pay off, or even more money, or I just don't have more people sending me piece of paper in the mail asking me for money,
Yeah.
And that's just, as far as I'm concerned, man, I'm doing what I love with the people I love, and that's all you really need for a job.
Now, do you see this as a career though, right? This isn't just a job for you. This is what you want to do with your life, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. For every guitar they make, it's going to break, and it's the thing about a lot of repair jobs and everything, you're never going to not have something go down, and you're never going to not need someone to fix it, and there's good money in that.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. And, the whole, hearing you tell me the mentality, and you're right about working for small family owned businesses. You're right. First of all, they did a great job out there where you work at it and during the pandemic, and making sure that everybody had, had their instruments, and that, students who were in band were still able to access instruments and things like that. So Art did a fantastic job, and I would always highly recommend Swing City Music if you need any kind of musical instrument or anything along those lines. And it's within driving distance of the whole St. Louis area, and they have 2 locations. No, they didn't sponsor the show tonight, but I would highly recommend them. And to see that kind of dedication and loyalty pay off from an employer is really good. So yeah, I think that's good. And again, for me, this isn't a matter of go to college or don't go to college. It's really kind of a matter of the investment that you're making in your future. So Mac, what are your thoughts on that?
I was just listening to you guys go back and forth.
So, well, what are your thoughts on what DJ has said about, he's kind of decided what he wants to do, and this is the path that he's taken, and he's working more along the lines of an apprenticeship and getting his certifications on his own.
That's still an education. An apprenticeship is still an education.
Okay, that's
exactly, yeah.
That's a good point.
In a field that he wants to be in. So in that respect, he's getting his education free of charge, mind you, but
he's kind of getting paid to get his education.
Well, I'm talking out of pocket on his
on the
behalf.
clock kind of sense, yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
And there are some music businesses out there that will pay for you to go to luthier school and stuff
Right.
like that.
So I mean, he does have options if he wants to further that education through, like he said, the school or sessions or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But for a passion like that for music, he can't be in a better position.
Yeah, he's definitely placed in place where he needs to be for sure.
But that's what I would say about that. Is my only comment on that would be he is getting an education.
And I think that all kind of plays into a little bit of everything we've said tonight, that the education itself, there are different kinds of education. There is the college, traditional university, college educations. There's the apprenticeships that you can do, whether it's in, electrical work, welding, plumbing, one of the trades. And then there's union work also that's out there. Sometimes you can go to work for Granite City Steel or something like that. I don't know that they require a college degree for certain positions.
They do not.
But I mean, some of those jobs pay great, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I mean, folks, we'd appreciate your input throughout the week also, just kind of on what you think. Mac and I are always both very, open-minded when it comes to opinions and things like that. I mean, we want to hear yours is kind of what, it comes down to here. And
we appreciate everybody that has commented so far.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Kim makes a really good point here also. So many choices and life paths to success. You just have to want it. And I think that probably drives the point home perfectly, because if the college white collar life is what you want in the future, and that you want to be the VP of a high corporation is going to require that, and you're wanting to put that time in, you're absolutely right. You need to take the steps to achieve that. And a lot of ways that's going to a university, and that's investing that money. For other people like DJ here, he wants to work on guitar. So he's investing his time and his energy in getting his certifications for that. And then there are those that I have, a recent friend that I made, her son just went to welding school, and that he's chosen that as his trade and his profession. So he's making a dedication to that. So Kim, I think you've summed it up perfectly by saying there's so many choices and life paths, and I guess it's just a matter of how you measure success also. And Mac, we could do an entire show on the measurement of success.
Right.
So, all right. Well, we've actually had, folks, I'm going to tell you, we weren't too sure that we were going to have a show tonight. We were having some technical difficulties there at the beginning, and
we're running 15 minutes over.
Some mechanical failures. So yeah. But we appreciate everybody being on the show tonight. Definitely, Mac was right. We appreciate your input, and we appreciate everything that you said. And we want to hear from you. If you have an idea for a show, let us know. We're happy to explore that. Mac, you got anything else?
I do not.
All right. Well, Tricia, thank you again to the Cat Boss for being on tonight. We definitely appreciate all the information that you shared. We appreciate everybody's input. If you have thoughts or ideas, please share them with us. You can always Facebook us at facebook.com/Mac and Chuck. And you can catch us at macandchuck.com. And our email is macchuck2020@gmail.com. And I think with that, DJ, roll that beautiful Mac and Chuck outro.
Ooh.